taking the test this weekend, so I am excited just to be over with it.
Awesome. Of course. Of course. How are you feeling as we go into it?
I feel good. I'm just like struggling with knowing when to like kind of just stop and like because I am still like studying a little bit, doing like practice sections. Like I don't think I'm gonna do another practice test until then. I think I'm just gonna stick with just the practicing for now. And I just took my last practice test yesterday, so I
Nice.
think that should be good.
Nice. And when specifically is your exam? What day, what time?
On Sunday
Okay. What time?
at 9:20 a.m.
9:20. Okay. Nice. Okay. Great. So, I mean, you have a pretty clear boundary you can follow if you'd like, which is to not do anything over the weekend. So, Friday evening, maybe Friday, 5 p.m., you stop and that's it. How does that feel?
I think that feels good to me. Like, and I think that I was hoping that that would be what I could actually end up doing because I did take November and November I didn't do that. I did stop practice testing like the same on Wednesday as well, but I was still like doing things up until Saturday. I think I stopped around like 5 p.m. on Saturday. So I don't think I want to do that again because then the next day I think I was just burnt out at that point. So I think this time around, I hope to take Saturday off.
Yeah. And the burnout's what we want to avoid. We want you to go in feeling fresh and raring to go, ready to kill it. And so just know that you're bringing into test day on Sunday all the work you've done over this period, all the work you've done up to this point. At this point, it's not about learning anything new. It's not about memorizing anything. It's about being familiar with the patterns of the LSAT, which at this point you are. And it's okay to stay fresh on it by doing a little bit more today, a little bit more tomorrow, but that's it. Let tomorrow be the last time you touch it until test day.
I think that's what I'm gonna do at this point. Like I think everyone just telling me the same thing to like not do anything on Saturday. So I think that's kind of what I'm gonna go with for now. But I guess one thing I was like, even though I said I don't want to do another practice test, like part of me was kind of like thinking maybe I would do one like today, but do you think that's a good idea? Or maybe not.
It sounds to me like just from the energy I'm getting from you that you don't really need it. Like I feel like you want to do it,
Okay.
but you don't really need to. And I want you to go in feeling fresh. Let's say that you're so overexcited that your score drops a little bit just because you're overthinking things or something. You wouldn't want to go in feeling discouraged by that result. So if you're feeling good about your progress up to this point and your practice test that you've done recently, I would just leave it there.
Okay. That I will do that. Do you have any tips on like what to do between like today and like tomorrow? Just the ways that I should be practicing because like what I've been doing is I've just been doing the workshop live classes like the past like over a month now. I've been doing like the weekly live classes with LSAT Unplugged, and those have been really helpful. And so like I probably will go to the logical reasoning one tonight. And but other than that, like I don't know like there's anything else I should be doing.
Maybe do another section, maybe drill some tough questions, maybe review any of your notes. Anything you're not totally clear on, get those questions resolved, bring them to the study group tonight as well. But that's really all you need to do. There's nothing more to learn really at this point. It's just about refining.
Yeah, that's true. And do you have any like last minute reading comprehension tips? Like I think ever since my LSAT journey started, like I think reading comp and LG were like my worst sections at the beginning. LG turns out to be my best section, and logic games is the best section now. And LR is pretty good at this point. I'm doing like -4 LR and LR section, like that's like my average so far. So I feel okay with that. But with RC, I think it really is like it just depends on the test. Like I have like I think more recently, like my worst score was maybe like a -8, but my best one was like a -3. So it's like I just don't. What I've been doing is I have tried not to take notes because I'm trying to move away from that just so that I have more time. And I do highlighting, like I just highlight like the author's like tone and like the structure, like anything structural changes in reading comp. But that's all I really do now. And so like I wonder like if there's any other tips that I could like implement maybe.
Well, sure, there are things I could suggest, but I'm hesitant to recommend that you change anything just a couple of days before the exam because there can be an adjustment period sometimes. So if you were looking ahead towards a potential retake or something, I could give you some advice then. But if January is the last one that you're looking at, I don't want to suggest that you adopt anything new. Instead, I'm just going to say that if reading comp's an area that you really want to focus on, that maybe you do some of your review over the next day or two on reading comp specifically.
Okay, so just maybe, yeah, I think that was what one thing I wanted to do was I don't think I'm gonna do any more logic games like I've been doing a lot recently. And so I don't think I want to keep doing that. But my goal was to at least get like 2 more like RC sections in like just like in timed conditions and then hope and see how that goes.
Yeah, sure. Do a couple of RC sections, review them in depth, make sure that you understand them fully, devote your time to that, and make that the only thing on your to-do list between today and tomorrow, other than attending the LR class tonight if you want to.
Okay, I will do. Okay, I'll do that because I did go to the workshops with rating comp as well, but I think it really is like a section where like each person is very different. I think with LR and LG, like maybe sometimes people will use like similar techniques for those 2 sections, but when it comes to RC, I've noticed that it's very different for people. Like some people will take notes, some people will summarize, some will highlight, some won't do anything. So it's like really hard to like understand what works. I mean, I guess at this point I should know that that's kind of what works for me, but it's just highlighting and just actually reading the passage before and not skimming it. So that's kind of what that's where I'm at this point with reading comp.
No, you're exactly right. I agree with you 100%. I mean, if you were starting from scratch and had the LSAT 3 months from now, I could give you a lot of ideas regarding how to approach it. But then it's on you to go test them out and see what works, what doesn't, what feels right. You've already done that.
Mm-hmm.
You have your approach. It's a question of maybe refining it slightly in terms of how you apply it, but you have your approach. And so now I think I would focus more on applying that approach and then reviewing any mistakes that come up and any misunderstandings that you encounter. That's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you. I think like, I don't know if you've worked, I mean, I'm sure you have worked with people who like in which like language is not, I mean, English is not their first language or their native language. Like, I think one of the suggestions that I had that someone told me recently was to just maybe I could go through some of, because I think one thing I struggle with is not even like maybe I do understand the passage, right? I know what's going on and I could answer the questions, but sometimes when I get to like the last question where it says like it's asking about like the author's tone or and it has like some like weird words, you know, like sometimes I've never seen these words before. So I guess like where I struggle with is if I knew the definition of that word, I would be able to answer the question, right? Like, but it's just because I haven't interacted with it in that way that I sometimes get those questions wrong. And so one thing that someone suggested that I do is maybe just go through some of those passages and just jot down words that I don't know the definition of, and then just Google the definitions, and maybe that would be helpful in the future. And I have been doing that a little bit, but I haven't had any recent sections where it has come up yet again. So, but I know it has happened to me in the past where I didn't know the definition of a word. And that is what made me miss the question. Because I was hesitant to choose an answer in which I didn't know what it meant. And then I went and chose an answer that I didn't think would apply, but I didn't, you know, like just like that. It's just hard to like choose it.
Yeah, sure. Well, one thing I'll say is that yes, you could go back through passages where you know you've encountered this issue and look up those specific words. But with only a few days before the exam, only a few study days left, I don't want to send you on a goose chase going through all the previous exams looking for those questions specifically. That may not be the best use of your time. a few days before. But if there are examples that come to mind, definitely look at those, look up the definitions. LSAT can be really sneaky in using unfamiliar definitions of certain words, or just using words that are not commonly that used, that even native speakers also have trouble with too. One recommendation I have for you, though, is something that you said that jumped out at me that I often say as well, which is that you've got to be comfortable picking a choice that you don't understand. It's really hard to do that, but the fact that you don't understand it has no bearing on whether it's correct or not. That's more internal to you than what LSAC is doing, right? That's more internal to you than the logic of the question, right? So if you can eliminate the other four, the remaining choice, no matter what it says, has got to be correct if you can confidently eliminate the other four. So I would work on getting over that discomfort. And this can come up in logical reasoning as well, right? Anytime that you have the perceived ambiguities of language, it can be an issue. But you can get that point, you can secure that point just by getting over that discomfort, that hesitancy.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's one thing I need to do. And I've done it a couple of times and it did work, but I just, when it comes to the real thing, like after taking in November, like it's just doing it during a practice test is so much easier than doing it on the official test, because practice test, like, I mean, it's not going to affect me, right? But official tests, you just never know. So I think it makes it a lot harder to be able to do it in that moment. But that's one thing I'll definitely try to do, because I'm trying to remember if I did that, but I don't think I did. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to get over that, but that can definitely get you a few points, especially on tougher questions. So eliminate those that you know are wrong. Whatever remains, look at those closely, but don't let your misunderstanding of a choice or lack of understanding of a choice's wording dissuade you from choosing it.
Okay. I will
practice it. See if you can put yourself in that situation in one of these upcoming passages that you work on.
Okay. I'll definitely do that. And is this call only supposed to be about LSAT, or could it be about like admissions too?
We could talk admissions a little bit, sure.
Okay. So I am planning, so I have submitted like a few applications already so far, but I think one of the schools is holding my application because I'm taking the January LSAT. And so like, I guess my question is it too late to apply now, like in January? Like that's one thing that I've been thinking about, is like, I have submitted 3 applications so far, but obviously I should be submitting more than that to be able to have a better chance at scholarships and just to get into law school for the following fall. But I'm just worried that by the time my LSAT score comes out, that it might be too late at that point for this cycle. And I mean, I really do want to start in the fall, but I don't know, like that's one thing that I've been thinking about.
Sure. No, good news, it is not too late. The January LSAT is definitely not too late. I've never heard of a school not taking January LSAT results. Most schools even take February LSAT results as well. So you're totally fine. And I would apply to more than 3 schools for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely will be doing that. Okay. Thank you. I think I just need to like start doing that after the LSAT. I haven't been able to do much because I mean, my personal statement is ready and my resume is ready and diversity statement as well, but I'm sure I'm gonna have like some supplemental essays that I'll need to write after the LSAT is over.
Yeah. Well, give yourself a well-earned break for at least a couple days post LSAT. And then you've got a few weeks to work on all of those essays.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Awesome. What else? Any other questions? Anything else on your mind?
Trying to think like if I had any other questions. I think that's I don't think I have any other like super pressing questions. Yeah, my main questions were like just like the last minute tips for like LSAT and just like the timeline for admissions as well. And does LSAT Unplugged do editing? Like, do you all?
Yeah,
do
definitely. I can send you some information on it.
Okay. I might need some editing for some other essays, but yeah, that's those are my main concerns right now, was just those two things.
Great. Well, it was great to meet with you. If you have any questions or need anything at all, just reach out. I'm here for you.
Will do. Thank you so much for all your help, and to all your tutors that have been really amazing with
Awesome. I'm
today's
glad to
session.
hear it.
Thank you.
Great. All right. Have a good one. All the
Thank
best.
you.
Let me know how it
Bye.
goes. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.